Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Good morning, everybody. Now, I am appearing like this morning for a reason. We're going to get to that in just a minute in my video, but we're back to our regularly scheduled programming, and we actually have a lot to cover today, so let's just get in there.
We are going to start off this morning with something interesting that happened. King Charles is giving his Christmas speech. Now, they do a rotation back and forth. So, BBC goes for 2 years, then it's ITV's turn. Well, for some reason, Charles canceled ITV, called the BBC and said, "You're going to do this." We don't know why yet. I'm sure it'll come out eventually. I can't wait to see his speech. Next up, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, dedicated a tree in Dean's Yard at Westminster Abbey to mark the memory of Queen Elizabeth. And this is during the final preparations for the Together at Christmas Carol service, that happened last week at Westminster Abbey. Very nice. Of course, she's talking to the kids. That's her jam. All right, moving on. The British sovereign has only been on the British banknotes since 1960, which makes King Charles only the second sovereign to be there. So the Bank of England just unveiled the design on all the banknotes ahead of their circulation for the middle of 2024. I like this. I think he looks really nice on the banknote. All right, next up, we have a lot of stories about Camilla. So she had, I think it's called a white truffle party. She had like a Christmas party, and she had a ton of very, very famous people that arrived. So, okay, right off the bat, we see pictures of her with her son, Tom. I think Tom Parker, I think is what they call him. And then you start to see the big stars that were there. This is Judi Dench. And by the way, in case I didn't tell you, this took place in Mayfair the previous Wednesday. Dame Maggie Smith and also Tess Daly were seen in the Murano restaurant enjoying themselves during this particular luncheon. Jeremy Clarkson was seen there. Now, this is before he wrote that article and created all that hubbub, and we're going to touch on that also in just a minute. Claudia Winkleman, I believe is how you say her name, was seen leaving there, as was Piers Morgan. Hugh Bonneville, who's in Downtown Abbey, as well as Maureen Lipman, who I believe is also in that show, was seen. Also spotted, Chris Evans, loved the scarf. Even Tracy Emin from the art world was there. She's a Royal Academician. Now, really quickly about Jeremy Clarkson, it was Meghan Markle that started the whole medieval times analogy, about the whole bowing thing. And Jeremy Clarkson made a joke about what would have happened in medieval times. You walk naked through the street and they throw excrement at you. And people went bananas. I mean, okay, I can see where some people would have thought it was in bad taste. Anyway, he's apologized, people. Move on. Now, by the time you see this will already have aired. But just in case, Queen Camilla helped Polo Grady rehome a rescue pup in For the Love of Dogs in a special episode that celebrated Battersea Dogs and Cats' 60th anniversary special. Here's a little clip just in case you didn't see it. You can probably find it online somewhere.
Sure. What is this?
I hope he hasn't had his dinner already.
No, he wouldn't. He hasn't been eating at all.
Hasn't he been
No,
eating?
not at all. No.
Well, he obviously needs you to look after him. We could share him. We'll do a time share.
Okay, I'll have him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can have him for the rest of the week.
Okay, let's get you eating, George.
Oh, yum,
Come
yum.
and see. Oh, George. No.
Camilla's love of animals, especially rescue dogs, of which she has some, is legendary. And you guys know that's a cause that's close to my heart. All right, let's move on. Next up, it's being reported that Queen Camilla is going to invite her children from her previous marriage, Laura Lopes, I think it said, and Tom Parker Bowles to Sandringham. They will take the spot of Harry and Meghan, who I believe will not be receiving an invitation this year. Go figure. All right, once again, the hardest working royal has been named. That's Princess Anne. She has done more royal engagements than Charles, William, Catherine, Edward, Sophie. Yes, we know this about her. That's a title that she well earned. Congratulations, Princess Anne. All right, next up, I usually don't do stuff about Fergie, but she arranged the blind students choir to come to the UK from the Ukraine, and they were taken to the Hyde Park winter, I guess you would call it a carnival. I think that was very generous and nice of her. All right, you guys, it was inevitable we had to cover this. So what happened was Harry and Meghan bought a production that was started back in 2019, and they did voiceovers, and it's being put out by Netflix in December and made it look like it's their work when actually it's not. As you can see from the Nelson Mandela Foundation.org, this was supposed to be released in 2020, and it was called I Know This to Be True. It was inspired by the team at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and this has been going for, several years. It had nothing to do with Harry and Meghan at all. Titled I Know This to Be True. So Harry and Meghan, it appears, bought the rights to it, stamped their names on it, and said, look at our new docuseries on inspiring leaders. And it's got Nelson Mandela in it and Ruth Bader, before she died, obviously. And if I don't want to say it's plagiarized work. It's not their work. It's somebody else's work. I don't understand why they're allowing them to put their name on it and make it sound like they were the ones who did it all. Once again, I'm not interested in this. It sounds, I hate to say this, it sounds like it's boring, and I'm not interested. I think you're going to be shocked at how many people are not. Even the body language guy was like, this is typical in show business. Maybe it is typical, but whatever. You guys should know that the New Zealand Prime Minister, Miss Ardern, has stepped up and said, I didn't know that Harry and Meghan were taking this over. I didn't have anything to do with Netflix. Permission was given before they were on the scene. This has nothing to do with me. She's most unhappy about this transpiring of events. All right, now we've got some bits and bobs to cover. When this showed up, I went, wow, that really puts the finger on what happened. It should also be noted, people are starting to speak out. First, Harry and Meghan had to release a statement because it received such criticism. And do you guys remember the criticism that Meghan got for making a fool of herself? I mean, look at Harry's face. For making a fool of herself about the way that she curtsied to the Queen the first time, acting like she didn't know what to do. And yet, here she is on Suits doing a curtsy. So, once again, this video footage showing up shows that she knew how to do a curtsy. Yeah, I'm not surprised. And with that, I completely agree with Meghan's mole here. Meghan claims she doesn't pay attention to the tabloids. They're just noise. She doesn't, read social media. She's not on social media. However, the entire Netflix show was about her feeling threatened and not protected from social media. Yep. I told you people are speaking out. Remember, she said the police didn't protect her in Toronto, and they said they can't do anything for her. Well, the top cop in Toronto spoke out about her allegations. And of course, that ended up on TV, and they had something to say. So listen to this.
A Canadian police officer has dismissed claims made by Meghan Markle.
Yeah, well, in amongst this litany of lies and half-truths and delusion that we saw on Netflix the other night, Meghan did talk about the fact that when she was living in Toronto, which of course is where Suits was filmed, where she was being stalked by paparazzi after it had become known that she was dating Prince Harry. and she says that she went to the police and they basically dismissed it, said there's nothing we can do about it. Well, the top cop in Toronto, and his name is James Raymer, he's about to retire, but he says we don't normally address specific cases publicly, but he is going to do it in this case, and he says everything was done that they could do to help protect her. Now, he in fact was in charge of the particular division that oversaw VIP security. The crime writer for the Toronto Sun, who've written up this story, says that he was covering that beat at the same time, and there were undercover cops, there were cars, hidden police cars. She was really being very well secured, of course. So it does seem that in amongst a long list of people who maybe seek clarification after the Netflix series the other night, Toronto Police is another one.
Next, speaking up, remember Meghan Markle said that the plane crew knelt down next to her, took off her hat and said, or their hat, and said, thank you for your service to the UK. Well, somebody stepped up that said that her sister is a cabin manager in British Airways first class cabin, and they are instructed not to speak to the VIP people, therefore calling her out again as, boom, a liar. And everybody should know that the documentary was judged less accurate than The Crown, and that's saying something. Now, I think it's interesting to note that all the Hollywood stars are keeping completely out of the drama. Nobody wants to be in their show. Even Oprah didn't show up in their documentary, which I find interesting. Just like she couldn't get most A-listers on her podcast, she tried to use Reese Witherspoon for the bimbo thing, and Reese Witherspoon was like, no. Also, let's not forget, she embarrassed Mariah Carey on the diva word. She upset Lucy Liu by doing the whole Dragon Lady thing, and even Lucy Liu came back and said, why don't you call Uma Thurman, Miss Fox or Daryl Hannah a Dragon Lady? Yeah, exactly. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, a blind item came out saying that Harry was looking for a place for his new book, to give out, but the reporter had to allow the questions to be pre-screened. Well, looks like he's going to be going with Tom Bradby, for one, to talk about the book, which we know is going to slam his family even more. Oh my God, this is the same guy that asked Harry and Meghan in Africa, about how are you feeling? He has also scheduled a major TV interview with Anderson Cooper. After all, he's the son of Gloria Vanderbilt. He is gay. He has a brother that died due to suicide, and he'll be a sympathetic ear. Ugh.
So, for those of you who want to know why I'm looking like this morning with my curly hair and my gray, which, I think suits me, one of the troll accounts came out of the woodwork as soon as Wally was back up on Twitter. And of course, you guys know I did a video thanking Elon Musk and welcoming Wally back on. So what do you think happened?
One of the troll accounts took this picture from where I thanked Elon Musk for bringing Yankee Wally back and then wrote what you're about to see. Yep. So I have a couple things to say. Number one, I have curly hair, which people pay out the rear for. Number two, I have the silver gray in my hair that right now people are paying out the rear for. And as far as the third thing that you wrote, I stand proud at the number of bedpans I cleaned in 27 years. Absolutely. From the 90-year-olds who couldn't get to the bathroom on their own, to infants wearing diapers, to 20-year-olds who had COVID and couldn't control themselves like what happened to me. I stand proud on that. Really, you guys. But thank you for watching my video, though, and making some money for me. I appreciate that. But if that's really all you got, obviously you've dug and you found Zippo. Looking a little desperate there. I also want to let you guys know, just in case you're unaware, that Yankee Wally is not only back on Twitter, she's back on YouTube. The name is Yankee Wally, and her profile picture is a tomato, or tomato, however you say it. Go sign up fast. Next up, this was on Twitter, and it really caught my attention because an op-ed was printed, asking for the royal family to be dismantled for its racist policies and history, and apologized to Meghan Markle for paying with her whole life. This was the New York Times, and yet the New York Times just put this crossword puzzle up, and as you can see, that's a swastika. Like, you just can't make this up. All right, next up, you guys, I found the organization that I want to help donate to. We're doing, January is going to be the UK. We'll do something in February for the United States. But this group, completely transparent, they've been going since 2017. They provide food, they provide new boilers, they provide all kinds of help to people in the UK who need it. They are completely transparent with their money. So for the month of January, any money that I get in my coffee fund, every penny of that will be matched by me up to $500. I'll match up to $500 and we'll send it to this person to help the people in the UK. And then in February, we'll do something else for the United States. And you can go on that GoFundMe and check the whole thing out for yourself. But if you want to donate, don't do it until after January 1st. All right, you guys, can you believe I managed to grab this picture of all three animals together? Tigger came out of hiding, Toodles was just there, and there's Finn. I love it. You can see everybody's healthy. So don't forget to leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future uploads. Don't forget to go into the description box to find my links for my Twitter, my Getter, and my Rumble account. Don't forget the link to my Patreon is there as well. For those of you who have donated through the coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.